Don't be shy.
Just say it at the end.
All right, everybody stop real quick. Everybody stop. Stop. If you're standing up, stand up, stay. Hey, so again, just to tell you again, our whole goal through AGAITAS is to use sports to share Christ. That is all we want to do. So, for us, we want people to get up and come to us. I throw some donuts out there and everybody's like, I'm in. I'm out of my seat for this. So what we want you to think about, next slide, is what will you use to bring people to Jesus? What are you going to use to get people to get up out of their seats? I just brought some Jesus donuts this morning. And everybody's up like, donuts? Are you real? For real? Are we going to do that? You got it. You said that. I'm using your joke. And then you guys get up and do that. Well, that's what we do with sports. We throw sports in there. We do soccer, baseball, all these things. We do these free camps just to get people to us so we can tell them about Christ. So as you're getting your donuts, as you're sitting around for a little bit, think about this. What are you going to use to bring people to Jesus? What are you going to use to get people up out of their seats and tell them about Jesus? All right, keep getting your donuts.
Just want to hand them out so we don't have to take them out.
Yeah.
Just hand them to the start and just say, take one and pass it around.
You just take these out. These are plain.
You grab the stack that was.
Alright, if you want one of these, grab it, but just keep passing around. So these are just notes for today.
Annie. It's crazy vibes.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to tell you right off the bat, I'm a teacher, so I'm going to make you interact and talk with each other, because we've just heard all of you guys talking, so be ready for that, okay? A little bit about us is, first and foremost, Ryan and I get to run this amazing organization called AGAITAS that started in 2012 off of a sermon that we heard. But more than anything, we are parents to 3 boys. We have 3 kids. Our oldest his name is Maiden. He is going to be a senior. He's here at Momentum. And we love Momentum because of the things that he has learned and that he has taken into his daily life at home. We have a 14-year-old. He's going to be a freshman. His name is Jonah. Jonah is he has enjoyed being the oldest child this week because he's gotten extra spoiled. But Jonah is so excited to come to Momentum. We've been listening online, and so he's really excited for next year. And then we have one more kid, and his name is Kingston. He's 3. He's very cute. He's very cute. But he's a lot of fun and a lot of energy. So you guys all week have been talking about going all in for Jesus, to go all out. So what I want you to think about is I want you to just take a minute, and I want you to think. If you were to imagine Jesus on your teams right now, or a way that you could show Jesus through sports, what is it that you could do to make that impact? So just take 30 seconds, and I want you to think about it. Okay, now what I want you to do is to write that down, because we're going to use that idea as we go through today.
All right. So, has anybody seen if you're not from Warsaw, has anybody seen the word AGAITAS before? No. If you were going to raise your hand, you're a liar, because I made the word up, all right? It's agape which is love, and veritas, which is truth. Love and truth. We love because we know the truth. So in 2012, Nina and I were at Mission Point Community Church, and Kandos Mbukwe was talking, and he said, if you feel called to do something, if you feel led to do something, do it. Don't look back in 10, 15, 20 years and wish, man, I wish I would have done that. It really kind of just fits in with the whole thing that you guys are doing this week. If you guys are feeling called to do something, whether you're a freshman, a senior, whatever you are, you can keep passing the donuts around, it's fine. Whatever you are, if you're feeling called to do something, do it. So I told Nina at that point, I said, all right, I want to do a free soccer camp for kids. And they had two goals, the soccer camp. One, we wanted to make it free for everybody because sports are so expensive. So we wanted to do a free camp. The second thing we wanted to do was share Christ at what we did. So this is the first camp that we did. And really, when we were putting this camp together, I was really thinking about the story of Jesus feeding 5,000. So there was a boy there who had very little. He had bread and fish. And Jesus took that, blessed it for the magnitude of people. And I was like, all right, what am I good at? At the time, I thought I was really good at soccer. I played in high school. I played at Grace College. I was the head women's soccer coach at Huntington University for 5 years. I'm the high school boys coach. I'm in charge of our travel, in charge of the rec league in our town. So soccer is what I do. It is just, so I looked at that and I go, all right, I have soccer. This is a little I have, just like that little boy had bread and fish. So Jesus, if you want to, God, if you want to bless this for the magnitude of people, go for it. And we'll talk more about it later, but now we do soccer, baseball, basketball, golf, pickleball, cross country, rugby. We go into low-income areas and do camps. We're in Brazil, we're in India, and it's only because of obedience. And it's only because we said yes when we were called to do something. So that's a little bit about AGAITAS from the beginning. We'll talk about that more here later. So our goals for you today, and then we'll revisit this after at the very end, so you guys can go. But we really want you to create a plan to use sports to share Christ in your area of influence. So who plays high school sports? Who plays travel sports? Does anybody do intramurals? Okay, so when I say travel sports or high school sports or intramurals or whatever it is, that's your area of influence. For sure your area of influence is just wherever you're at with this. I would also say, you guys knew with sports, you had to read the description to come. But if you're in band, choir, whatever you're in, just switch out sports for that. So, a plan to use band to share Christ in your area of influence. Whatever it is, you can do that. So the first thing we talked about was your gifting. What can you use to tell people about Christ? Again, we use sports. We're going to talk about your audience, when you can do it, where, what, and the community that surrounds that. Next slide. All right, so I like to play games. I used to work at a fireworks store, and when people would come in, if they could throw a ping pong ball and stuff, we'd give them things for free. So we're going to kind of do that today. We're going to walk around. Who thinks they can make one of these balls in there? Okay. Confidence. All the boys are like, give me the ball. Here you go. So, write your initials on it and circle it. Because yesterday there were initials on it. Here's the pen. I'm just going to throw it back there. Who else wants a pen? Just start rotating this pen around. What is it? You're going to throw it. All right. Put your initial on it and circle it. Initial and circle it. If it's not circled, you probably won't win. So I'm just going to pull the circle one.
Go bigger, go more.
Keep moving that marker around. Keep moving the marker around. Move that marker around. Move that marker around. All right, once you get the marker, you can throw it. If you need a marker, raise your hand. And then once you put your initials and circle it, go for it. Try to make it. Throw class was a little bit better than they cheated. Because all these were full. That's alright. Who needs another bowl? We'll revisit this shortly. If you still have a ball, you can put your initials on it. I'll give you more time to throw later.
Okay, so we want to talk about your target audience. Just like this, where God calls us to go, He calls us to do and act in different ways. Our arena may be the same, but the ways that God calls you to reach others for Christ may be different. There's going to be times that the first thing you do is perfect. It's awesome. It works, right? But there's going to be times that you try things and you miss completely. Okay? So your target audience is important. We talked about specifically, we're going to talk about your team. So when we started, I asked you if you could imagine Jesus on your team. What would be some of the simple ways that you guys could include Jesus in what you were doing? I'm going to wait to tell you what kids in our community are doing, because I want to hear from you guys first.
Say something. You look like you want to say something. What would Jesus do on your team?
What could you do to show Jesus?
Introduce him to like a bunch of people as like your friend.
Introduce them, include them.
Include them, yeah.
I know with my soccer team, we pray before every match.
Praying with your soccer team. I see lots of head nods. How many of your schools are doing that? Okay, so there's lots of schools that are doing that. But how many of you wish your schools would do that before you pray, or before you play the game? Okay, so something simple like, do I have someone with good handwriting? Because I do not have good handwriting. You want to go to the backboard team, and I want you to write pray before your game. What else? What's something else you could do? You could pray before a game. Huh?
That is, you definitely want to stretch before a game. That's good.
Huh? Okay, so building that team
This one.
chemistry. Okay. What else? What are simple things you could do with your team before? Okay?
Making me a team captain.
Give me more with that.
Like if you were to look at others like you were to treat them like Jesus, you could give them a position as team captain for a game.
Yeah. So choosing leaders, people that act more like Jesus to be your leaders on the team. Doesn't necessarily have to mean it's the best player. It's maybe the person with the most character. You want to stay up there and keep writing? Okay. What else? Yeah.
Read a Bible verse before a game.
Read a Bible verse before a game. Yep. All right. Now, when we're talking about team, we really want you to think about love your team like Jesus on and off the field. So I'm going to tell you what kids in our community are doing. So a couple years ago, there was this kid who came to Momentum, and he was so excited and on fire. And one of the challenges I think you guys have every year at Momentum is not to leave momentum to be this experience here, to take it home, right? And so what he decided to do is, it's been a couple years that he's done this, but he decided that he was going to every week lead devotions for his team before practice started. He didn't think his coach wanted to interfere with practice, so he just said, we're going to meet once a week before school or before practice starts, and we're going to lead devotions. Okay? Here's the thing. The first year that he did this, there was some days there were 10 people. Some days there were 3 people. Okay? But God honors obedience. And he did that his whole soccer year, and then he went into basketball. Well, here's the thing that was interesting. Okay? Leading devotions with his teams was something that he wanted to do. But sometimes it just takes one simple act of obedience for other people to catch up. By the end of year 2, there were 4 teams that were doing it. Going into next year, there are 6 teams that are working together, and they are leading devotions for their teams. In our area, we have public high school, right? And so to gather, and it's not mandatory, to put something on for 60 kids in our school, it takes work, okay? But it's a simple act of obedience. So going into next year, there are now 6 teams that are going to lead devotions for their teams every week, okay? Another thing that he decided to do year 2 was that he was going to pray with the opposing team every single game. Whether he won, whether he got playing time, whether he scored a goal or made a basket. He was going to pray with every single team, win, lose, or tie. Now, I got to sit and watch some of these things, right? After every loss, when this team would come together, you would start to hear people say, that's weird. Something's different. What's going on? And so, when it had all been about the game, it slowly started to turn into, well, there's something bigger that's going on here. Simple steps, simple things that you can do to show Jesus where you are.
And adding to that, you guys might look at that and be like, how do I pray with the other team after a game? What would be an easy way to start that? Ask. Who would you ask, though?
The coach.
You can ask the coach. Who else?
What were you going to say?
The team. So what he would do is he would find either the captain or he would go to an assistant coach after and just be like, hey, I'm going to pray in the middle. Would your team like to join me? He would just go to the captain. The captain would be like, yeah. And then the captain goes to their team, says, guys, we're going to come over here and pray. So it's just a real simple conversation, one-on-one conversation that got how many teams? There were 18 soccer games. Every single team prayed. That's 20 to 30 kids on each team. I'm not great at math, but let's do easy. 20 times 30, 600 kids that he was able to pray with during his soccer season just by saying, hey, after the game, you guys want to pray? And win, lose, or tie, like Nina said.
Okay, so then what started to happen is all of these teams started getting together. And I will say this, these were good athletes that were coming together. These weren't people that weren't praying. They were good athletes, and they started to say, I want to do something different. There's something different. When we start including Jesus into our team, our attitudes are better. We work together better. No, not everyone comes, right? But the majority of people were coming, and there was this change starting to happen. And so what happened with these kids is they started to meet together every single week, once a month, and they would do devotions together. And they would figure out ways that they wanted to impact their schools for Jesus. So, one thing that they decided to do is that they were going to host a worship night for our community. And what I loved is I teach a class at the high school, is you would walk down the hallways and there would be all of these signs inviting kids to this worship night. Again, public high school. You don't see these things often. Okay? And so their worship night then turned into this group of 1, turned into 4, turned into 6. Then this group of athletes was a group of 13 athletes, and they had over 200 people come together and worship that night. You can't really see it here, but there are a bunch of kids right here that are sitting together and praying. And you then had, by inviting everyone, you were mixing all of these friend groups and all of these social circles, and they were getting together and they were praying and they were showing Jesus in their schools. So when you think about, you're going to stop and talk to someone next to you. When you think about what are some things you would love to see in your schools, or what do you think you could do in your schools to show Jesus, I want you to talk with someone, and we're going to share those out here in just a second.
Will you write down pray and devotions on there? Yeah. Then you can.
I'll talk about community real quick, and then do you want to talk about those pictures are for camera? All right. So any ideas on what you can do? You can move to school. What can you do inside your school?
Started doing like a Bible study during lunch. Like we do that for us here.
Oh, awesome. Anything else? Yeah.
We created a Bible study before school,
Awesome. The public or private school? Public.
and then we also passed off to the younger kids so they can get it.
Great job. That's awesome. Yeah.
We have an FCA at our school,
Okay.
but sometimes we'll go and meet with other FCAs from other schools.
Okay. So how many of you guys have FCAs in your school? Okay. All right. So they wrote some of that stuff down. You can go to the next one. So again, it started with the team. My photos broke. That's a bummer. But starts with your team, your school, and then it goes wider out to your community. So this group of 13 kids, Nina taught a class, and they actually put on a tournament for AGAITAS. They raised over $20,000 in the community, and I'm a big idea person, so I'm a dreamer. So I met with these students, I said, I got an idea for a tournament. Instead of going and playing one sport, let's go, and the round robin is soccer, basketball, dodgeball, and an obstacle course. And then, during the knockout stage, we get all these kids together. I had a Wheel of Fortune wheel that it wasn't that big. It was like really tiny, but in my mind it was a Wheel of Fortune that they spin. Whatever sport it landed on, that's what they went and played in the knockout round. So they never knew what they were going to play, and they played 4 different sports. Like I said, it went awesome. We had 165 kids. We sponsored a bunch of kids to come that couldn't pay for it, and we still raised over $20,000 to do it. You get the next one. And then also, just know that things can change. Like when that kid came back from Momentum, he was like, man, I am going to start social media, and it's going to be huge. We're going to do a sports podcast, everything like that. It didn't work out. That wasn't really his gifting, but that's okay. It's just like here. Like, sometimes you guys miss, but keep trying again, all right? And then for the world, like, we started team, school, community. Now we're in India and also in Brazil, sharing Christ through sports there. Okay, the other thing I want to talk about is, why is it your target audience? When you start looking at this, if things are going good, it's easy for people to point at you and be like, man, you are doing such a great job. You are doing this. So I wanted to, this verse is helpful to me, but in Matthew it talks about the disciples came to Jesus and asked, where do you want us to go make preparations for you to eat the Passover? He replied, go into the city to a certain man and tell him, the teacher says, my appointed time is near. I'm going to celebrate the Passover with my disciples at your house. So the disciples did this. The next one, he sent 2 of his disciples and told them, go into the city and a man carrying a water jug will meet you. Follow him. Wherever he enters, tell the owner of the house, the teacher says, where is the guest room? He will show you a large room upstairs. The next one, where do you want us to prepare for it? Go, a man carrying a jar of water will meet, follow him to his house, and say to the owner of the house, the teacher asked. So, here's my question. Whose house was it? Whose house is it? Man, we don't know whose house it was. It doesn't matter whose house it was. Because ultimately, Jesus was using that person's house for him. So when people look at AGAITAS and they go, man, you guys are doing awesome stuff. Hey, It's for Jesus. Hey, you guys are doing awesome. That's awesome stuff that you guys are doing. It's for Jesus. Because it doesn't matter who this man is that he's using. It's where that guy is using it for Jesus. So you always remember that. As good as it gets, whoever your target audience is, whether it is your team, you're praying with people after the game. So the kid that we talked about, there was a post of him praying with his team, had over 80,000 views. Easy for a high school kid to be like, look at that. I just blew up on social media. No, continue pointing people to Jesus. It's not about you, it's not about him, it's about Jesus.
And what I'll say on even his prayer, it was always, thank you, Jesus, for giving us this gift to play, but help us to remember that it's not about us, that we should find our hope in you. So those 80,000 people who saw that also heard there are bigger things in life than sports, and that's Jesus.
All right, so the next thing I want you guys to take some time on is, if you do this with your team, community, school, when would you do it? Where would you do it? Who would be invited? And we might do, we're already kind of doing how, but you guys can continue to do like how. What would you guys use? So like, keep tripping over these ping pong balls up here. I'm going to slip. So again, just take some time inside your groups. When, where, who, how. All right, go for it.
You can go sit down. You're good.
You can sit down.
You don't trust yourself to throw it?
You want to do this part?
With what? This part? Huh?
Let's say for your team, when would you want to get together with your team?
Like before practice on the field.
Before practice on the field? It's a great time to do it. Does your public or private school?
Public.
Public? Would your coach be cool with it?
Maybe.
Yeah? Who feels comfortable talking to their coach about something like that? Yeah? Does anybody not feel comfortable? Yeah? What's the worst they can say? Okay.
And then you problem solve to figure out a way to make it happen.
Yeah. So like, if I went to my coach and said, hey, I want to do a Bible study, can I do it before practice? And he's like, well, that might interfere with practice. Okay, that's fine. Maybe we do it after practice. Like, so, don't ever take that first no as like, oh, we can't do it. Always think like, oh, that's okay. If he doesn't want us to do it during practice, or like my soccer practice starts at 3:30. But again, I'm pretty open to my team doing this. So they meet at 3:15 or 3:20, right at the fields. They do a devotion, come out to practice, and we're still starting by 3. So like, it's easy for me to say, the coach doesn't own your time. If they say they want you there at a certain time, respect that for sure. But like, there's other times throughout that you can do that. So a couple things you think about. Are you doing it pre, during, or after the season? Before or after practice, because everybody's already there? And what day makes the most sense? I would say when you're starting to look at days, maybe look at your schedule, just like Jeff was saying yesterday. If you look at your schedule and be like, man, we have no games on Mondays. Every Monday, this is when I'm going to do it. If you start doing it on Tuesdays or game days, then that starts getting a little harder because you might have to text all the kids and say, listen, we can't meet Tuesday because we have a game. So to find a time that works consistently, just like Jeff was saying, I will say, what time doesn't make sense? Like, what would be the worst time for somebody to do a Bible study? Well, during practice for sure. After practice on a Friday, don't do it. We had somebody try that, and they were like, Nobody's coming to my devotional. We're like, when are you doing it? After practice on Friday. There you go. Nobody wants to do it after practice on a Friday.
And hers was as simple as she had one person come Fridays after school consistently. She changed her day, and she was open to it, which is another part of hearing, like, when things aren't working, being willing to change. And it went from 1 to 10 in a week. One simple change. So again, not getting discouraged about when things don't go your way.
The next thing is, where can you do it? Again, it comes down to public school, private school. If it's a public school, you can probably still do it at school, but the other thing you have to think about is there a teacher at your school that you can do in their classroom? Like somebody that's willing to do that. Again, talk to your coach. So any athlete that does devotions through AGAITAS, they have to go have a conversation with their coach and just say, this is what I'm planning to do, is that okay? Warsaw's a weird place because it's like a public school that is filled of Christian teachers and coaches. So I understand that's not going to be like that for everybody, but that's something you want to do. So again, just making sure that wherever you hold it, you do have permission to do it there. And then who? Are you going to do it for your varsity team, your JV team, your freshman team? Again, when you, like Warsaw, we have 65 kids in our soccer program. So it's like, do we invite everybody? Not sure. Football, who plays football? That's like 100 people on your team, right? If you go to a big high school, so if you go to a small high school, maybe it's not so. But at Warsaw, again, that's like 100, 125 people. Do you do that? Or on big teams like that, do you do a core group of players? Like-minded players. And then maybe there you guys say, hey, I'm going to meet with these 10 guys. You meet with these 10 guys. Maybe you do something like that. And then players and coaches. Do you invite the coaches? Again, public school, private school. Are guys going to say things to you? Girls going to say things to you that they're not going to say when the coaches are around? So that's just things to think about when you think of who. And then how. We've been kind of taking notes of how to do it.
Okay, so what we want you guys to take a minute to do is we're going to kind of brainstorm this plan, right? Perfect situation I can think of. If I say I'm going to teach something tomorrow, but I don't have a plan going into it, it's going to crash and burn, okay? I've been a teacher for a long time, and I still know and have to remind myself that making a plan is always the best thing to do. So we want you to do that, okay? So we're going to have you just think of your area that you wanted to influence, your sports team, choir, band, whatever it is that you're going to do, and I want you to just create a plan. What are you going to do? When are you going to do it? Where are you going to do it? And then, how is it? Are you going to pray? Are you going to come with something already written? Are you going to just ask for prayer requests? Whatever it is. Just take 3 minutes, and I want you to do that before we finish up.
All right, so while you're finished that up, I know Nina said 3 minutes. I gave you like a minute, sorry. While you're finished that up, the other thing we want to talk about is the role of community. So again, it seems like these 3 girls here, you guys have good community. Are you doing this together?
It would be us and then Cruz and then a few of our other friends that play.
Okay, that's awesome. So when I think about that, I think about the discipleship that you guys are having with the people around you. They said that they already found younger people to take it over when they leave. That's huge. A shared purpose and identity. Also, it's not always easy. So to have that community, to find somebody else on your team, in your school that wants to do this, the encouragement, accountability, and then the goal. The ultimate goal is when you leave, it doesn't stop. If you leave and it stops, you failed at a little bit of what you're supposed to be doing. Okay? You need to find the next generation of leaders on your team. So one of the things for AGAITAS that we want the kids to do is they have to find the next person on their team. And that's the discipleship part. You want to leave and come back in like 6 years and still see devotions going on your team. And leave that legacy within your team. That's huge. And then I will also say there's a reminder that you guys aren't going to do this. You don't have to do this by yourself. If you don't have the community at your school, man, we are willing to stay in touch. We're willing to have calls with you weekly, texts. We were also talking about maybe doing like a leadership call where we'd get 10 kids around from wherever you're at and just talk about how are things going, what do you do on your team, what devotions are you using. We're willing to do that. Happy to do that. We'll have our contact info on here at the end that you guys can take a photo of and text us, email us, whatever. Next slide. So really the goals for today was to think about your gifting. So hopefully you guys thought about your gifting. What can you use? Your audience is team, school, community. When are you going to do it? Where you're going to do it? What you're going to do it? And if you need community, we're here. If you don't have it, you need to find it. But I will say too, like, if you guys take this, just like Jeff said yesterday, you get, he didn't say this yesterday, he said it at the beginning, you're going to get what you want out of this. Alright? So if you want to leave with a plan to go impact your team, school, hopefully we left you with that. Next slide. So we're going to take 2 minutes. I'm going to talk really fast. And I'm going to tell you about AGAITAS. Because we're sitting up here and you're like, alright, this guy just told us what to do. But what has he done? Alright? Again, nothing. It's all through Christ. Like he blessed obedience and he continues to bless that. So next slide. So So big camps. What we do, like I said, free camps for kids in the community. We share Christ at everything. We started with 37 kids at a soccer camp. Now we do soccer, baseball, basketball, golf, pickleball, cross country, and we just started rugby this year. So you can see all of our camps here. Pop-up camps, other pictures are working. Perfect. Okay, our pop-up camps, what we do is, our big camp, you can go to our contact info back too. So our pop-up camps, what we do is so many kids were coming to our big camps, but the kids that couldn't afford anything weren't able to make it to our camps. So we were challenged to take our camps and go into low-income areas. In our areas, that's trailer parks. So we go into trailer parks and we do a free soccer camp, we go dinner and devotions. And a lot of these kids aren't coming for soccer. They're coming because they don't have food at their house. So their parents send them down to us. They're coming without shoes. We've had kids just come in swimsuits. Like, it can be chaos because we're right there in the middle of their neighborhood. We go door to door. We show them a registration form. If they don't speak English, we turn around and we have Spanish on it. They send their kids. We play with them for an hour and a half. And these kids love it, but they can't get to anything else we do. So that's a big part of it. We're in India, we're in Brazil, so we do about 23 camps in 8 weeks in the summer. We have 13 people working for us this summer. We have 6 interns. We pay interns anywhere from $2,000 to $2,500 for the summer, and we just play sports all summer long with kids. It's not always easy. It's hot, but it's super rewarding. So, what we're going to do now is, here's our information. If you guys want to do this in your school and you want somebody to walk through it with you, get a hold of us. We are more than happy to walk through it with you, stay in contact with you. If you want to stay and talk to us afterwards, or if you have any interest in this, stay and talk afterwards. And then I also like to do a giveaway. So, do you have anything else?
Nope.
So I'm going to give a giveaway, and if you guys have questions, so who's HS? 2 of you HSs?
Tell them both.
Both of you guys come up. PH.
Can come grab it.
Huh?
You can grab a t-shirt, an AGAITAS t-shirt, or if you'd rather, we have bracelets. You can scan it on your phone. Yeah, you can definitely. Let me show you how you do it though.
Alright, PL.
So you just come here, put it
And then
here. The service is so bad, but if you put it here, there will be a link that pops up, and then you can see there's like devotions that you
who made it from farthest away?
T-shirt or bracelet?
I have a bracelet.
Okay.
I'll take a t-shirt.
T-shirt. There, what size?
Okay.
Whatever
If
one you
anybody
want.
makes it right now, they get a T-shirt.
What do the bracelets look like?
They just have an A, an AGAITAS on it, but what they have on it is you scan it on your phone. It takes you.
Oh, sorry. The Wi-Fi here is so bad.
It's so bad, but it takes you to a page with a bunch of different devotions. So, or there's pictures. Yes, all of these are small.
All right.
What color do you
Here,
have?
before we end,
Okay, surprising. Actually,
does anybody have questions, comments, questions?
Bracelet doesn't matter. Okay, what you do is you take your phone, you put it here, and then it'll send you to a bunch of devotions. I just want to make sure that one's right. It's not Mississippi again. Okay. Yep, what size? Medium, same thing.
All right, any other questions? Questions? All right. Oh, yeah. Oh, just the pins?
Have them just leave it on the table.
You're free to go. If you want to stay, get into your school, go talk to us. If you have a marker, just leave it. Or